Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel. Peter likes books. Okay, well, this is a little bit of an update. I say a little bit because there's not much to update, you guys. It's like, okay, all these people are contacting me and they're like, you're not making new booktube videos anymore, blah, 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 whatever. You guys, it's not that I don't want to make booktube videos. It's that something has happened where I have just like really slowed down what is on my nose? It looks like my nose is so shiny. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. But anyway, I have really slowed down my reading a lot. People, get off those books. People's over here smelling books. He thinks he's a reader. Anyway, I have slowed down reading so much. You guys, listen, also, even on audio books, which you guys know, I go through Audible books like 2-3 times a week. I have been on Ransom Riggs' Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I have been on that book on Audible now for like 6 weeks. I like haven't finished it. It's unreal. So I need to just get on it. I need to just, yeah. So anyway, I don't know, like I just have been really distracted, and actually I am going to, I have to run to another Half Price Books today. So I'm gonna run to Half Price Books, and I think that I'm just going to pick out a book. I haven't done this in a long time, honestly. I think I'm just gonna look through everything and pick out one book that looks absolutely fantastic that I wanna read. Because I went to Half Price Books, another one yesterday. I could not believe I walked in and just found everything I wanted almost. But anyway, so do you guys, like, I feel like I am such a decisive reader anymore. Like, and if I see a review that somebody did, then I want to read it, and on and on and on. But like, I'm such a planned out reader that I don't just go in and pick out a book and go like, I just want to really read this book tonight. I think that's what I'm gonna do. It was so funny because when I was walking into Half Price Books yesterday, Judy Blume had a book out, which my friend Tanya read. It's the one that has a plane on it. I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, I almost bought it because like back in the day, I loved Judy Blume, and her adult literature is really good too. Adult fiction is really good too. So I almost got it, but I was like, I don't know that I'm gonna read this book. See, I start second guessing myself. And then I have all these books that I wanna read that I haven't read, and it's just like, oh my God, somebody sent me all these really cute bookmarks and they're over there and I don't want to get up to show you my fat gut. So I'll show you in my next video. But anyway, I am reading the collected works of J.D. Salinger with Graham at Mega Man Chief Fan. I'm sure he's already completed it. He told me he put up his Catcher in the Rye video. Honestly, I haven't watched it. I was going to do that today. But one of the things that he showed in his video before he started it was that he had he didn't even act like it, he didn't even notice it, but I noticed it, that he had these paperbacks that were absolutely incredible, right? And I wanted these paperbacks so bad. And it was because they were like this size. I'm going to show you in just a second because I got them. I looked everywhere for them. I had to go to 3 Half Price Books. So, they're like this size, they're all the same size, and I don't know, they're just like I think they're very nice collector's editions, and there's actually hardbacks that come in the same size that I saw there, but I didn't buy the hardbacks because I just like paperbacks better, in case I want to carry them around. The other interesting thing about the J.D. Salinger expose, J.D. Salinger Secrets, I'll call this video, is that down in the basement, I was looking for like if I knew I had Franny and Zoe up here, and I knew that I had Catcher in the Rye up here, but I couldn't find I can't find 9 stories anywhere, and I know I have it somewhere. So anyway, I was looking for it, and I found my mom's copy of Catcher in the Rye, and she has 2 editions. She has one from college, and it must have, I think it came out, it was not written when I thought it was. I was really surprised. Came out in 1945, so she would have been, well, she was born in 43, so it came out right after she was born. But anyway, so she had her college edition, which had underlines and notes in it, but it said, like, at the top of it, like, class. I mean, she read it for a class. And then she had her adult version, okay, which was so cool, you guys, because as I was reading in there, she had all of these comments and things about, like, my childhood, like, she equated, apparently I used to ride my bike and roll, I mean, I remember roller skating in our basement, but I don't remember riding my bike in the basement when I was a little kid. We had this huge cement basement that was like full length of the house. And I would ride my bike and I guess I rode my bike, I don't remember, but I definitely do remember roller skating down there. But anyway, at the end of Catcher in the Rye, when Holden is talking about Phoebe in the field, my mom like wrote this whole paragraph equating it to watching me. She would sit on the stairs in our basement and smoke cigarettes. She used to smoke in the house. Smoke cigarettes and watch me as I would just go around and around in a circle. And it was so weird that like she equated those two. And so it's really slowed down my reading because she's written so much in her book that whenever I read it, I want to go find out what my mom had to say about it. So I'm like almost at the end of Catcher in the Rye, which I've read these before. I've read Catcher in the Rye and Franny and Zoe before. 9 Stories and Raise High, The Roof Beam Carpenters, and Seymour I have not read before. I think. I may have read 9 Stories. I don't know. Anyway, so I went and got Catcher in the Rye, and look, you guys. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Do you see? They're like the big editions. I mean, how beautiful are these, you guys? $6.99 at Half Price Books. Beautiful. So anyway, I'm so excited. I love them so much. Oh my God. And yeah, so I mean, in total, it's like 600 pages. That's a book in a week anyway. So Graham, I'm going to catch up with you and get this all done. But the first secret was the beautiful, I like it. I read the Franny and Zoe one best because I like green. I just love green so much. But anyway, so the first Salinger secret are these beautiful paperbacks. Anyway, which I'm sure somebody will say, you could have got that on Books A Million for 99 cents or something like that. But whenever I look for things on like those cheapo sites, I can never find anything, you guys. Okay, so then the okay, that was for secret number 1. Let's make a deal. Secret number 1. Secret number 2 was finding my mom's version of Catcher in the Rye. If you guys have kids, excuse me, I've had a cough for like 6 weeks. Took an antibiotic, it's not helping. Anyway, if you guys have kids, leaving journals, writing in books, all that kind of stuff, I just think is totally magic. I think you're leaving behind a literary memoir for your children that my mother did for me. She wrote on the back of record albums. Like she would write next to lyrics of songs, like what they meant to her and things like that. And it just is phenomenal. It means the world to me. So anyway, okay, the second secret was my mother's book. And the third secret, Scout's honor, you might ask. I was never a scout, thank God. Anyway, I mean, nothing about scouts, but I just wouldn't have made it. I mean, let's be for real. I can't even tie a bow. So anyway, the next secret is that I watched the Salinger documentary on Netflix. Have you guys seen this documentary? Okay, even if you have never read a J.D. Salinger book, even if you could give a rat's ass about a J.D. Salinger book, even if The Catcher in the Rye wasn't the finest book that has ever been written, which it is, even if you've never read or heard of The Catcher in the Rye, which I couldn't believe I was actually talking to somebody the other day, and I said, did you ever see the Salinger documentary? I mean, you know Catcher in the Rye, right? And they're like, I've never heard of that book before. I was like, excuse me? So even if none of that is true, right, you need to watch the J.D. Salinger documentary. It is mind-blowing. Okay, I love documentaries. I love documentaries about writers, okay? When they did the whole documentary about Hey Boo, about Harper Lee, did you guys see that documentary? I mean, if you haven't seen that documentary, you need to just get your program together, like. Okay, so anyway, Hey Boo, I love that, because I love Boo Radley so much. I have a dog named Boo Radley, and I love To Kill a Mockingbird, and Harper Lee is my favorite author in the entire world, blah, blah, blah. And I was devastated at Half Price Books that they had copies of Go Set a Watchman right next to some Debbie McComber book, and the Debbie McComber book was more expensive. I was like, seriously? It was on the clearance rack outside front. I was like, Half Price Books, you need to get your shit together. Harper Lee belongs inside. So anyway, we don't want the girl to get cold. So anyway, I was watching this documentary last night, and you guys, it is so fantastic. The music that is done, that weaves through it, is beautiful. What's really, really cool is, I mean, I kind of knew a lot about J.D. Salinger's life already because I read Catcher in the Rye for a class by a teacher that really, really knew him well in college. And so I knew a lot, like the military influence and like his upbringing. I knew he was raised rather wealthy, things like that. I did not know about his love affair with Una O'Neill, who was Eugene O'Neill, the playwright's daughter, and how gorgeous and intellectual she was, and that she ended up marrying Charlie Chaplin, which like devastated J.D. Salinger, and that was like his love always of his life. I did not know about that. I also did not know that he was a recluse, not really a recluse. Like, when you hear about J.D. Salinger, you hear that he was a complete recluse, right? Well, that's not really the case. Like, he was to the public, but to his friends and family and everybody, he was not. And he even went to like the markets, the county markets and things like that, and hung out with his friends and went to Europe. And it's very interesting. And one of the most interesting things in the whole movie, or documentary is where this like super fan, when he was younger, drove out there to meet him, and he meets J.D. Salinger, and like for 5 seconds, and all these people are trying to get pictures of him. I mean, it would be overwhelming. It'd be too much. And basically what the documentary shows is how we fall in love with this mystique, okay, of the author via the, or the character via the author. And that even J.D. Salinger would talk to his closest friends as if Holden Caulfield and his other characters were real people. Which, as a person that writes, I totally understand how that is. I mean, you get so into the mind of the character that you almost kind of feel like you're there, if that makes sense. But like, he took it overboard because he wrote extensively for so long, especially Catcher in the Rye. Well, this guy comes up to him and wants to have this really, really deep intellectual conversation with him, and J.D. Salinger basically is like, why did you leave your family? And he was like, to come and have this conversation with you. And he's like, I don't have any answers to offer you. And he was like, he even asked me, he's like, do you have mental health problems? Or something like that. And the guy's like, no. I'm like, I just wanted to talk. I wanted to have a deep conversation with you. I mean, if you could think of anybody in the world that you would want to have a deep conversation with, okay, if you're a book lover, wouldn't J.D. Salinger possibly be one of those people? I mean, if you really love literary fiction. And he looked at this guy and he goes, I don't know what you want. I'm not a counselor. I'm just a fiction writer, okay? And I don't have answers, and maybe I provide questions. And I thought, oh my God, that is what books do. Books are so powerful because they offer questions. They ask us questions about our lives. They make us wonder about our lives, right? But we should never assume that the author has the answers. And what's really, really interesting to me about this is, and this is interesting mostly because he's a contemporary of mine, and I mean the same age group, is that John Green to me, okay, you guys, please do not kill me, but John Green to me is somewhat of like a modern day J.D. Salinger. I mean, I don't think the work is comparable, but the way that he lives his life to some degree, I think is, and the tone of his work. And I was thinking about this last night watching this documentary. It's interesting that in The Fault in Our Stars, which is a 10 times deeper book than people give it credit for, I mean, the book is phenomenal. And when she's obsessed with this book and the writer, and she wants to meet the writer, and she wants to find out the answers to this book, and basically the writer is like, piss off, okay? And I don't want to tell you the ending if you're one of the only one people in a million that hasn't read Fault in Our Stars. I won't ruin it for you, but you know that the ending, what happens with the author, which is like the coolest part of the whole book. But I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm like, did John Green steal this from the life of J.D. Salinger? Because this seems pretty close to this fan's encounter with him. Like, almost identical, and he's written a book about it. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. Anyway, I mean, nothing's original in the world. There's no art that's original. I love John Green. I'll always love John Green. I fanboy over John Green. I've seen him out in public like 5 times. I even did a video called I'm Never Too Old to Fanboy Over John Green. Go watch it. I mean, I love John Green, but did you steal it, John? No, I don't know. Did you steal it, John? Because this book, it's a beauty. Still sells 250,000 copies a year. Isn't that crazy? Sold more books than anything else in the world besides, I think, To Kill a Mockingbird in the United States. Anyway. I don't know what I think about it. I'm sorry I told so many people about it. About all I know is I sort of miss everybody I told about. Even old Stratlater and Ackley, for instance. I think I even miss that goddamn Maurice. It's funny. Don't ever tell anybody anything. If you do, you start missing everybody. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.